Hello, hello, Natalie. Good afternoon. Gonna wait for a couple more people to join us. I'm gonna get started.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Natalie. Still getting in position and shit.
Today is our first out of scheduled day. Oh, sorry. Always do
That goes.
this. Always do this. Gonna wait for some people to join us, like you heard me say before. Hey, twice already. What was I saying? Talking money. We're talking money today.
Yeah.
It is our first out of schedule stream. Today is a stream. This week we're doing a stream challenge. We're gonna be live every week, every day this week, and we're gonna be talking about different topics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're very excited to announce what we're doing tomorrow later on, but we're waiting for some people to join us.
Mm-hmm. And also, whatever topics that we do this week, like whatever days you guys like, let us know. Because maybe we will incorporate it into our normal What Wednesdays and Fallback Fridays and go live 3 times a week instead of just 2.
Yeah.
Because once Xylee's done with her Beast Boy streaming on Sundays, we're not going live anymore on Sundays after that unless, we figure something out.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a good experiment. We're over here eating
Word.
French fries and hot dogs.
Hope everybody's having a good day.
Mm-hmm.
I know all the parents probably been with their kids all weekend, and they're probably tired of them already, and they're going to be with them for the rest of the week.
Mm-hmm. But for those parents whose children were actually in school.
Like your kids do at home school, then you're already used to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
It's like lunchtime right now. Well, early dinner, lunchtime, what?
And this is like lunch, breakfast and lunch for us because we didn't eat yet today. Hot dogs and French fries.
If you're in the chat, don't be shy. Say hi.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be coming on camera in just a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh snap.
Oh wow! Welcome,
Mm-hmm.
newcomers. Welcome. Everybody, go give the video a like.
You are new, please subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
We are doing a stream challenge this week. We're streaming every day this week until next Sunday. We usually go on Wednesdays and Fridays, and we've been doing Sundays now because we've been streaming after Zali with her East Boy stories. But once she's done with that, we're trying to find out what other days work for us. So that's what this experiment's all about. And we're also trying different topics that might interest other people or anybody needs help with.
Mm-hmm. Did you make the rice with the sofrito, Natalie?
So frito.
Mhm. I love the way that sofrito smells when it's cooking.
All right.
Mute it.
Mm-hmm. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. We hit him with the yer. Oh.
What happened?
Can't hit him with the yer again. Yer.
That was badly.
I didn't take off the lens cap. Yo, what's up, everybody? We are here. We are the Carbon Couple. I'm Zales.
And I'm Diamond.
Yep, and we are here. We're doing our Spring Week Challenge. This is the first day.
Hey, Skip.
Hello, Skip. It's a Money Monday. We're gonna talk about money. Well, you know what they say about money, right? More money, more problems. Money is the root of all evil, but money is important. Money make the world go around. That's why we're gonna talk about money today. When you don't got it, you're trying to get it, and when you got it, you're trying to spend it. Right? Trying to get rid of it somehow. Right? At least not in your immediate vicinity, because everybody's always trying to scheme and look for a come up. You know what I mean? Eating fresh fries. All right, so pass me the iPad. If anybody here has any financial questions, if you got any problems, I'm not Dave Ramsey. I'm not gonna really be able to help you. A lot of money sense, a lot of stuff in life is common sense stuff. You know, so I'm not gonna be saying anything revolutionary or mind blowing or innovative. I'm technically just repeating what I learned from other people that I've applied to my life, and it works. All right. So we used to be very bad. I'm not even gonna say we the best now. Sometimes we still make mistakes, but I used to be horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. Can't even tell you how many times I went broke buying ridiculous shit. And it's funny because I was raised by immigrant parents, and my father told me to put away. But no matter all the lessons he tried to teach me, it didn't click until I got much older. So kind of really clicked after my dad died, and after like I looked at my life and I'm like, you know, I'm getting older now. You know, I'm gonna be 33 this year, and you got to be more about your shit. Got to be, you know, got to be on your shit. We have children; they require stability. The things that we want to do require stability, and so it's a couple years. So I would say you do both. It's we're gonna get into exactly like the methods that you could use to like build some wealth. You're gonna need both. You're gonna need a savings account just so you can have some emergency funds. Because one of the things that I learned recently is that most people, I believe it's 60% of people in America don't have $1,000 in the bank. I think it was 50% of people don't have at least $500 to $400. They couldn't cover a surprise expense of that much right now, you know. And then I think it's an even larger percentage, of course, that don't even have $1,000. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so let's say you need to, you know, something happens with your family and stuff like that. Family gets sick and you want to travel. Somebody, you know, somebody like a grandfather or a grandparent is gonna die. They're gonna pass on. You know, you were close with them. You moved away from home,
And you're trying to go back.
and you want to go back to visit them and say your goodbyes and lay them to rest, pay your respects. A lot of people, you know, a lot of sadness in the world comes from not being able to do things for the people that you care about. And so one of the like we started feeling this way about like, yo, our life isn't the way we want it to be. You know, what steps can we take to like improve it? And one of the things that I see YouTube as like a big thing, like a big resource is for knowledge. You want to know something? Oh, snap. Hey, what up, Advent?
Hey,
I don't know
Advent.
what's going on with these things. I've been doing it in the Discord and tweeting and I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. And I'm gonna get into how banks actually rob people because they do some sneaky stuff that if you didn't know they did, and I'm gonna explain to you, you'd be like, "What?" But
I think this is gonna be a successful one. I think people are gonna want to
yeah.
continue learning
But
more.
as I was saying, I started looking into YouTubers who talked about finance because I'm like, I don't know nothing about finance. I don't have a business degree. None of my friends really talk about finance. Like they talk to a certain degree, but like once we start talking about it, somebody in the group started, and it's just like, oh, come on, man, we can't even talk like grown men about certain shit. You know what I'm saying? So started looking at YouTubers that talked about, you know, because that's what you're supposed to do. Like on some shit. I know a lot of people use YouTube for their cognitive dissonance. If you're gonna use it for cognitive dissonance, use it in a good way. Use it against yourself. Be like, I'm trash. Let me go fix myself. How can I fix myself? Let me look at some self-improvement shit. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, the self-improvement shit, you get stuck in always wanting to self-improve. You gotta just implement shit and just get it going. You know what I'm saying? But there are YouTubers that we watch that kind of inspired us to get our finances in order. One of those big ones is Dave Ramsey, which I know people do not like right now. But I'm not gonna get into his political ideals. We're just gonna talk about the finance shit. You know what I'm saying? I think financially, for someone who's gonna teach somebody to get out of like an economic struggle, his principles work. You know, you see, oh, sister's a CPA. That's what's up. Yeah, like nah, it's.
It's good to have certain people like that in the family.
Another person we watch is Stephen Graham. He does the Millionaire Reacts to Millennial Money. Talks about stocks and stuff like that. There's a guy named Jasprit Singh. He has a channel called Minority Mindset, which talks about finances there. There was an Asian cat. I forgot his name. Was he Asian? I'm thinking about somebody else. We used to have the peas in the pod.
The peas in the pod.
It was like almost like Stephen.
Oh, the
Stephen
peas
Gardner.
in the pod. Isn't it? It wasn't that.
Stephen Gardner is somebody else. I'm at Stephen Graham. Sorry. And then there's a couple. There's like a couple that does like financial stuff, and they're called 2 Cents. Yeah, like look, you want to find information, use it to find some stuff that we want to know. You know what I'm saying? Dip your toes in there. Figure out what it is that you want to learn and stuff like that. But we're gonna get to those channels a little bit later. But I'm gonna start laying the groundwork here because Chris is kind of learning right now too. Like,
Yeah, he's gonna do most of the talking today. Tomorrow is probably gonna be me though.
So, my first step. This is what I believe should be everybody's first step when you want to talk about handling your money and how to get better at handling your money. And the pun is going to be attended. Accountability. You got to take accountability for how you spend your money, because it's your money ultimately. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people sitting there, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that. It's because you're saying you can't. It's not because you can't. It's because you won't. You know what I'm saying? I think earlier on the stream I had mentioned something about a poverty mindset. That a lot of people who grew up in inner city neighborhoods in black and brown communities, we grow up with this minority mindset. That's the name of a channel. I'm sorry. It has nothing to do with race. And it's about like the minority of people who work about their money, not with race. But you have a scarcity mindset that leads you to act a certain way. When you feel like, oh, I won't be able to get this and I really want it, it makes you act in desperation. And so you start to do stupid little shit. You know what I'm saying? Or you just spend your money badly. You know what I'm saying? I know there's people who...
That kind of goes into like the fear of missing out.
Yeah, the fear of missing out, the consumerism. When your friend, like, for example, one of the things Dave Ramsey be saying, oh, when you start getting your money straight and you stop hanging out with your friends gonna look at you like crazy. He was like, well, you know, why don't you do that? Why don't you walk? Because right now, the goal is to get me straight. All that other stuff is secondary. It's not that you don't want to chill with your friends, it's not that you don't love your friend. Right now, the goal is to get your bread straight. So when you get your bread straight, you can then have someone and be like, oh, maybe every month I can start to hang out with my friends. You know, every month. And we're in the pandemic. So he's like, oh, I put money a month, a little bit of money every month away. So I could chill with my friends. A little $30, a little, you know, and you don't see them for 5 months. When you go see them, you get to have a nice dinner because you've already thought about putting that money to the side if that's what you want to do. There's another thing too. Spend money on things that you would like to spend money on to a reasonable degree. Don't deprive yourself of wanting to buy things. Because when you do, when you finally get the chance to spend on yourself, you're going to go crazy. You know? So take care of yourself every once in a while so you can keep the motivation going, but don't completely deprive yourself. Like there's some people who, like, they get to the point where they eat nothing but, like, toast and rice and beans, and they get sick of eating food, like the food that they eat, and then when they go out, they buy some crazy food so they can finally have some flavor. Nah, learn how to do things economically so you're not doing without.
So pretty much don't overindulge. Like, keep your spending in a budget and, you know, to a limit.
And like I said, the scarcity mindset. It really does something to your finances. For example, what's the first law of economics? Supply equals demand.
Oh.
The law of supply and demand. And so when people have a scarcity mindset, it inflates demand more than it needs to be. It's like that. It's arbitrarily boosted up for no reason, right? A perfect example of this right now, which I'm probably going to hurt a lot of people's feelings, is talking about the PS4. This PS4, it's not easy to get. Yeah. But the PS4 is something right now that a lot of people want. And it's not easy to get through regular means, through retail means. You know what I'm saying? I want a PS5, sorry. I have a PS4. I want a PS5. I'm behind in the times. I want a PS5. But ain't no way I'm going to pay for $1,000 for a PS5. That's crazy. It ain't worth that much. Sony sold it for $300 or $400. Why would I pay a $600 markup to a reseller just because I'm acting in desperation due to a scarcity mindset? I'm just going to wait, you know? So, like, financial tip number one, wait to buy a PS5 at retail price. Do not pay extra for it. That is silly. That's it. So once you figure out the accountability count, step of it, and be like, all right, I'm responsible for doing certain things. I need to do certain things with my money because you know, you don't make money for no reason. It's not for fun. It's to pay
Yeah.
bills and to upkeep, stuff. Um, I say the next part is to have your plan and your budget in place.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't have to have like a CPA or whatever do your budget. You could literally have a notebook, just a ledger notebook where you write how much money comes in and how much you're spending and account for every dollar. There's if you went to computers, you could use a spreadsheet through one of your word processors like, Excel. You could use spreadsheet right there. If you learn the program, you're able to do the calculations and all that stuff. So you're not there actually doing the math, which, cuts your budgeting stuff like crazy. And even if you're doing pen and paper budgeting with a ledger, have a calculator. You don't have to do the math long ways. You just got to get it done, right? You can have a software like QuickBooks or Quicken, which is made by Intuit, which runs TurboTax. If you run a business, you probably already have something like that. You could use it for your household stuff. Um, there's even websites you can use like Mint.com. Dave Ramsey has a program called Every Dollar. I don't know if they changed the name of it, but basically those are just budgeting apps. It tells you how much money's coming in, where the money's going out, how much money I have left, what can I do, and then you just budget that money so you get to zero, basically. I don't even be fancy on my shit. I just be having, I have an app on my iPad, which is just literally like a notebook, and I don't use it in the notes. There's like a actual, what is this called? This is called Good Notes. I use Good Notes on iPad, and it's just a regular notes thing, and I just write it in there. And then I'm used to having a ledger. I did Excel spreadsheets for a while, but I don't know. I like just scribbling it out. So the iPad with the notebook, and I just make my ledger in there. And as weeks go by, I just I get rid of the ledger on the iPad, so my finances are just not all through here. But um, and calculator, just it's work. You got to sit there and you actually got to do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. It's discipline. There's a discipline in doing all this shit. Like there's people who don't even worry about they bread. Like you know what I'm saying at all about like, and they just want to spend and spend and spend and spend. You know what I'm saying? Like when people got mommy and daddy's credit card and they don't really think about how much they got to really put up to like take care of themselves. They don't even know the notions of like. I remember there was one time this girl was like, "Oh, how much do you owe on your credit card?" And she's like, "My dad pays it." And they're like, "You don't know how much?" And she's like, "No, my dad just pays it." And they're like, "You don't know your closing dates."
And there was also this other girl that was like, "No, the bank just gives me the money." She didn't know that you had to pay it back.
Crazy shit. So after you're planning your budget, you're gonna get into your savings. So savings is many different reasons why you're save. A lot of people find it daunting, especially if they have debt that's in the way. So, but before you can do any of that stuff, like you're gonna need a bank account. And I say in one of my songs, I know people that grown ass people don't have bank accounts. Some people they don't trust banks or stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Money is digital now. And one of the things I would always tell people like growing up in poverty, there's certain things that people there's certain things that people are just I grew up seeing that was just normal to me. Like for example, the check cashing place. How many of us went to the check cashiers like a pay-o-matic growing up? You know what I'm saying? How risky was that?
Yeah,
going there, and then not only do they just give you cash, which you're just gonna be carrying in a neighborhood that's not the best. You know what I'm saying? You got all your cash. You can easy jux Somebody know you just got your check and they saw you. You walk outside. They walk up the block. They put the gun in your face. You give me your shit. Now all your rent money is going. Now all this is going. Right. And they pay. They charge. They charge a cashing rate. I think right now it's like 2.23%, but I'm pretty sure it changes.
Fluctuates.
Yeah, it fluctuates between cities and states. Like on some shit, one of the things I would never pay to access your money. So one thing, when you get a check, if you get a paper check or whatever, don't go to the check cashing place. Open yourself a bank account. There are bank accounts out there that have no fee checking, right? Where they're not gonna charge you to have any money in a checking account, right? And from real banks. Like one of the ones that I suggest a lot of people look into is Capital One. They have a thing called 360 checking, and savings, which are completely free. They don't charge you anything to put money in their bank. And then if you set that up, right, you can look into other banks. There are many other banks. I'm gonna get into why you should go maybe more like a brick and mortar bank for your regular checking account. For your primary checking account, that's what I'm gonna call it at this sense, because you want something that's local. You want to avoid also using ATMs, because ATMs also charge fees to withdraw money. So the less, cut out all the fees. Oh, the check cashing fee, I don't have to pay that person $7. You save $7. Like I used to spend $7 a check on fees at the check cashing place. So you get 2 checks a month. You 14. That's $15. That's Netflix for a whole year. They're not giving me the value Netflix gives me for a whole year. So you got to cut that out of your budget. You know.
Hey Tor, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Tor? We are talking money. That's dope, Natalie. Yeah, stocks. We're gonna get into stocks and stuff. I don't think we're gonna really get into that too much today. I kind of just wanted to cover the basics in this first stream. If people really like the stream and they really like the financial shit, and they're like, you know what, this is something that we really need to talk about, especially as like on some shit. I don't want to talk about people's drama. If you got like YouTuber drama, what's going on with your life? Oh, you stressing that you live and check the check. All right, let's get you off of that. So now that you have less things to stress about, now you're more productive in your life. We're gonna try to add value instead of just talking about the next name. But I was saying, don't pay for your own money. If you work and you get a check and somebody says, "Oh, $7 to cash this check," tell them to eat a dick and you go somewhere else, or they give you money for free, right? If a bank says, like for example, I got an account with Chase. Chase is local. That's the closest bank to me, right? Make me some dice. Oh, some 20-sided dice and stuff.
I actually just woke up from a nap like about an hour ago.
Not even, like an hour ago. So tell me they can go somewhere else. Like I said, I have a Chase account because it's local. Thing with Chase is their checking accounts have a fee. It's $12 a month to bank with Chase. If unless you have a certain amount of money deposited into your account every month. So as long as you have $500 deposited every month into your Chase account, they will waive the checking fee of $12. Or if you have a certain amount of money in your account daily. If you can manage to do those things, you can get your money for free at a bank account and don't have to worry about it. Also, another hack I learned while I was working retail was if you go to the bank that issued the check, like if you go to, like, let's say you get your company uses Bank of America to give out the checks. Go to Bank of America with that check and you can cash it there.
Yeah, free of charge. And if they try to charge you, you tell them that they're not supposed to charge you. Like I had that happen to me with Chase. Like he tried to charge me. I'm like, no, this is a Chase check. You're not supposed to charge me.
Yeah. And even the bank, you don't get your check until it clears. Yeah, after 3 days. And so this is where the next bit comes in. You direct deposit. Direct deposit your checks. Because on some real shit, one of the things that I used to be horrible with money, I had my check, I took it to I held the money physically in my hand. I saw it, you know. So now it's like, oh, what I'm gonna do with this, right? Now the money goes into my account, right? From there, I kind of go into like, oh, this is where the money needs to go. And so yeah, there'll be some spending money that you could actually physically touch, right? But it won't be as much, you know. And even then, it gets to the point where you're like, now your scarcity mindset goes from, I really need those Jordans, or I really need this, to like, yo, I really need to hold this $20 down because it's my last $20. So you know, everything else is paid for. I'm not. There's a difference between being broke and all your bills is paid and broke and you struggling. You know what I'm saying? That's the broke we are. Our bills are paid. We ain't really doing much extra, but kids are eating. Ain't nobody going to bed hungry. Yeah. Everybody pretty much got what they like need.
We're struggling where everybody got what they, like you said, what they need, what we want, and yeah, bills are paid and shit like that. So it's like we're just fine.
Trying to build some assets, but
yeah,
we're gonna get there.
Yeah, we're trying. Yeah, that's like the next step, basically.
Okay, here we go. Also avoid overdraft. I don't understand the mindset behind overdraft. Good talk to me. I go to the store. I try to buy something I don't have money for. And you're gonna allow me to borrow some money on top of a $35 fee, on top of letting me borrow whatever the difference is. I've seen people go into overdraft because of 35 cents. I think I've gone through overdraft because of 50 cents. Something hit me out of nowhere for $1. I did not know. I was not expecting it. Right? I went back and I checked $35. I said, from where? You know, I called the bank and I was like, yo, you know, listen, like, yo, I'll put the money in, but like, you know, I'm usually give me alert, whatever. I had taken that shit off. I'm like, nah, you're not gonna charge me $35 on top of 50 cents. That's not happening. You know what I'm saying? And that's if you don't have the money. There's times you don't have the money. D&D is Dungeons and Dragons. Tabletop RPG game that you play with your friends. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons.
That's funny. Yeah, Tor was telling me that yesterday.
Let me give you a quick figure. I'm gonna have to look it up real quick. So last year, it says here, in 2019, banks made over $11 billion in overdrafts. Money that they're charging people for money that they don't have. Imagine that. Imagine. You don't have enough money. You overdrafted $1, $35. How many times did they make $11 billion? There are industries in the world that don't make $11 billion. This is you owing me money because you don't have any. That's the $11 billion industry. Shit is crazy. Dumb as shit. Right? So when you get your bank account, avoid your fees by either meeting one of the requirements. Oh, I direct deposit this much money, or I have this much balance every month. You know, avoid the ATM. I know it sucks. That's why you got a bank that's local. You know. Oh, I gotta go get money. I'm gonna walk the chase. You know. Sometimes you gotta do it. Now I'm not gonna lie. There are times I hit the ATM and get hit for $2, but I feel like a dick. That's the fee for convenience for not having to walk all the way to the bank is $2. And then some people
And
are
then the
getting
bank hits you themselves too, right?
sometimes, yeah, depending
For
on
not taking
yeah,
from their
depending on what
ATM.
ATMs or whatever. Some banks really
Yeah.
be hitting, you know, which is grimy. And then avoid overdraft, avoid going to the don't pay to access your own money, because then that's a, they call that the tax on poverty. You know what that's what they call it. It's like a tax on poverty. You don't really make a lot of money, or there isn't like a bank or financial institution in your neighborhood that you could actually be part of. You know, like there are some people who probably don't make $500 a month. You know, so they can't get, uh, and I understand that. I understand where they're coming from with that. And so like that's why I feel like we should, like, the government should do certain things, like certain brick and mortar banks, especially if you're the only one in the area. They should be like, yo, waive the fees, because people need to be able to access their money. You know, they shouldn't be cash in places really shouldn't exist. You know, they really shouldn't. So now that you got your checking account to do your stuff with your bills and stuff like that, uh, you're gonna basically keep going and keep going. Now, one of the things, especially in America, that's important is credit. What is credit? Credit is debt. For some reason in this country, you need debt to get more debt. I don't know how it works, but that's literally what it is. Your credit score is the bank saying, we can trust this guy with debt because he's a sucker and he'll pay us. You know, right? But technically, that is what it is. Yeah, they dropped some of the fees. I don't know if they dropped the fees everywhere and in all banks. But yeah, a lot of fees got to be done away with altogether. There's no reason. Everything is done through computers. You know what I'm saying? So, and if they want their cut, they get their cut from the person that they use their system. Like, for example, I don't know. There should be like for example with Bitcoin, the blockchain doesn't take their money to whatever. They make new money to give you. You know what I'm saying? So if they did everything through blockchain, I'm pretty sure they implement the system. They can make their own money on money transactions, but they don't. So so the debt we're talking about is consumer debt. We are not talking about mortgages. We don't own a home, nor do we own any properties. Rent life. It is what it is. And we're talking about consumer debt, credit cards, small loans, personal loans. We're not talking about school loans, anything like that. Anything substantial. The rules that we're going to be talking about later in the payment of debt do apply, but that takes a much bigger scope of I'm not telling you how to pay 20,000 unless you're making 20,000 a month. You can figure that out.
Yeah, and then
some have $35 fees for going over $1.
Yeah, there's even ones that charge you just for even having the account every month.
See, it got to the way. And credit is important in the U.S. I know, especially because they be using credit for jobs. Like a decent credit history is like a requirement for some jobs. Your credit
Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, your credit fucked up. Oh, you need a job so you can fix your credit. Oh, but your credit fucked up. You can't get this job. Right. Oh, also housing, like rents and all that stuff. Like they be using credit scores, and so if you're at the point where I don't have a credit card, what do I do to start a credit history? One of the things that you can do, it's funny, a great way to go into debt is to go into school, right? And get yourself a loan to go to school as an 18-year-old teenager. And they will give you upwards to a ridiculous amount of money, thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars to go to this school. That's one way to start your credit history, but it's a drastic way to start your credit history. I've never taken out a huge loan. I've had some loans that I paid, and I didn't finish school, but I paid the student loans for the schooling that I have done, and I don't got the debt from that, but like I know people live for years and years and years with school debt. And then also, if you go to college, I'm pretty sure you've seen people around the school. Hey, would you like to apply for a credit card? They allow it in schools. I don't know how, but you can. If you're a student at a school, you can sign up for a credit card as well. So you can start there, but you have to be responsible with that. And I'm gonna say over and over: responsible with debt and responsible with credit. This shit is not something to play around with. You could mess up your finances and not be able to own a home or whatever, get a car, get a good job because you're stupid with money. Just wait till we get China. That'll be crazy. The social credit score. Then you could have good money, talk about the wrong person, but that would never happen in America because that would never happen. We're allowed to talk to about whoever the fuck we want. Like I voted for Joe Biden. I could say he looks like a fuckface. You know, it's democracy. You know. So once you start your credit history, there's another way to get a credit card is through a secured credit card. Probably isn't the best way to do it, especially since a lot of secured credit cards come with higher APRs, which are annual percentage rates. But secured credit card is a card that you pay a small deposit towards the bank. Sometimes it's like $200, right? You pay towards the bank, and they'll let you open a line of credit. And that $200 that you gave them secures the credit card to a certain degree. So they're like, oh, if he runs away with $500 worth of credit shit, at least we got him for $200. You know what I'm saying? Then he only really owed, you know. So that's what a secured credit card is. I know there's other shit like self-lending programs and shit like that. Not really gonna get into those because we never really used them. I just been building up. I built up my credit starting with a secured credit card and just working and was able to get a credit card. And then that's what we're gonna get into with the use of the credit card. People use their credit cards like they money. That's not. You could have a limit, but the credit card should really only be, you only should spend how much you're able to give back. For example, if you know you get, let's say, $500 every week, and let's say $300 go a month, right? Goes to your rent, right? So $200 a week is for extra whatever spending. You could take that $800 and pay every month an $800 balance. If you have $1,000 balance on your credit card, you should not spend $1,000 because you don't make $1,000 a month to cover that credit card. You shouldn't even spend $800, you know, because credit utilization, all that shit actually has an effect on your credit score. But you got to be responsible with your credit card. You know, like we watch videos where people are like, "Oh, the bank just gives me the money." And I said, "What do you mean the bank gives you?"
Sounds like your uncle.
Okay. That's one of those.
Oh. I need to turn this on. It's fucking hot.
So one of the things I've known, me and Krista grew up, our parents weren't the best. We do silly stuff with credit. Our mom is scared of credit because people think, oh, I got a credit card. Credit cards are dangerous. They can be if you don't know how to use them.
Yeah, but that's where my mom got messed up with her credit because she done maxed out mad different credit cards and never paid them.
It's all right to max out your credit card,
but she wouldn't. But that's she didn't do. That's what she didn't do.
Now
that's what she didn't do. That's where I don't know if she even got that all fixed.
Right, like you got to use credit cards like they're gonna be cash. Right, like you wouldn't want to use all your cash. Don't use all your credit card. You should use what you need to. Right? Because if you leave a balance on your credit card and you have an APR applied, because sometimes there's credit cards that give you like an introductory rate, oh, you get 0 APR for the first year. So You can go spend $1,000 and max it out over and over again. But think about it. You got $1,000 coming in every month that you can pay. Spend $1,000 every monthly credit card and pay it back at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
And look what's gonna happen. You're gonna accrue no credit, no interest on top of your credit card. And you basically, if you got rewards on your credit card, you're spending less money to spend that amount of money. So there are perks to using credit cards, right? And if you use the credit card in a way where you pay the balance every month and leave no balance, you actually accrue no interest in the way you do that. So, for example, I have a $1,000 credit card, right? I spend $1,000. I have 1.5%, 1.5 cash back. I spend $1,000. I'm pretty much making $15 back. Instead of spending $1,000, I spend $985, right? And then I pay my balance. So now I'm spending less money because I'm responsible now. Now, everybody knows that credit cards they have an APR, but they charge interest every month, right? That's why it's important to know your opening and closing dates on the statements. Part of the budgeting is knowing when stuff is owed, when you're supposed to give it, stuff like that, so you can have the money beforehand. You know what I'm saying? Know your closing dates, know your opening dates, so you know when you, like, for example, if you got a little bit of money and you don't pay your credit card, or you have a little bit of money on your credit card and you use it the day before the statement closes, that is now applied to the money that you already owed. You know, and so now you're making your if you would have just waited until the opening date of another, then that charge would have applied to the new one, and if you would have paid your last one, you would have no interest, and this would equal no interest if you paid within. Also, there's a key. You have your closing date. Your due date for your payment is usually 21 days, 3 weeks after the closing date. So if you pay it within that time, within 3, you would not accrue interest. So you have basically like 50 days to pay something back without interest. And weirdly enough, the Muslim religion forbids making money on interest. They call it riba. So some Muslim institutions won't really have like interest. There is a time value proponent of owing somebody money for a long time. Because like you owe them for mad long, so like now you gotta kind of gotta sugarcoat it a little bit with a little bit of extra bread, out of respect. But we're gonna talk about interest rates. Interest rates can be fucking deadly. They can be deadly. Like my fucking interest rates are crazy. And this is why I try to always pay my balance beforehand, so I don't even have to deal with that interest. High interest rate on a credit card would be a quarter, 25%, 24.99% APR. But that percentage only is applied for the whole year. So let's say, for example, you have a credit card with something with maybe a good interest rate would be like 11. You know what I'm saying? The average is 17. High is 20. So I averaged it about 20%. Let's say you have a 20% APR on an account that is $1,000.
Yeah.
And let's say you let that shit just sit there. You didn't pay it for a year or whatever. And now the APR starts to get attached to it, right? So now you have $1,000 debt, and you have 20% APR, right? At the end, you're gonna have to find out. Oh, this is annual percentage rate, but I'm charged interest monthly. So what do I do to find that out, right? You take the money that you owe, right, and you times it by a certain percentage, right? Well, okay, so let's say you got a 20% APR. How do you find the monthly, percentage rate? We divide the number by 12, right? So 20% divided by 12 is 1.66%. 1.66% of $1,000 is $16.60. So in just that 1 month of owing $1,000, right? You're gonna owe another $16 on top of it, right? If you can also do it because sometimes, like for example, February is a short month. We only got 28 days in February. Another way to do it is to take 20 divided by 365, which is the number of days in the year. And if you take 20, you'll get 0.055%. If you take that and you multiply it by 1,000, 0.055% turns into 0.00055. You multiply that by 1,000, you got 55%. Then you multiply it by the number of days in a month, and then now you got which if you did it by 30 days, 55 cents times 30 is about 16, about the same number, right? So let's say in a month, the APR starts to hit you $1,000, right? You pay your minimum. Let's say your minimum is $25. You have $1,000 worth of debt, your principal, right? Which is the money that you owe, the money that you borrow, right? And the interest on top of it. That month, the interest is $16. You pay $25. Less than $9 goes to paying towards the principal.
The rest is towards the interest.
And the rest is towards the interest. You barely made a dent in the principal by just paying the minimum. Mm-hmm. Right? So let's crunch the numbers a little bit more. You paid $25 towards $1,016.60. You only put the $8 debt in your principal. So you now owe $991.06. But guess what? Your APR, your monthly thing is gonna hit you. So we're gonna take that $991.60 and add 1.66%, which will bring your balance right back up to $1,008. You've already at this point you've already spent $24 overpaying on interest.
I'm confused. I'm so confused.
It's confusing, but it's a trap. It's a trap. Interest rates are a trap. So to explain again. So to explain again, you got $1,000 with a 20% interest rate, right? Every month, take 20, you divide that by 12, you get your monthly rate. You got $1,000, you're gonna add 1.66% to that, which is now $16.06, right? So every month that you pay, 2/3 of your payment goes towards interest and not even your principal. So in 2 months, right? Say you made your payments. You started at $1,000 and you made two $50 payments, right? You're still gonna owe upwards to $1,000.
Yeah.
Because the first month you paid, you only got it to $991. But then the interest came and kicked you in the ass, increased it up another $16. So you're at $8, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just gonna keep doing this and just chipping away, but it's never gonna be substantial enough. You're gonna be paying more interest than you do.
And the things that you can see.
Yeah. Because in 2 months, you're gonna be at $999.38 by paying just the minimums. And next month is gonna go up another $16. So you're still gonna be at it's like it's never ending.
Mm-hmm. So it's like you gotta spend low on your credit cards and make sure you pay the whole your whole
What
balance.
I tend to do is just pay my whole balance if I can. Pay as much as you can. Like if you got $100 balance, and you don't want to accrue any interest, try to pay as much of it as you can. You know what I'm saying? And that's what, but you're like, yo, but this is, what if you owe already? What happens if you owe when you already got a good amount of interest and stuff like that? You gotta try to take it apart. So one of the things, you gotta make it a priority to eliminate these debts. Now there's two different methods to eliminating debt that people talk about. One is called the snowball method, and the other one is called the avalanche method. The snowball method is you take your debts and you go from largest to smallest, or smallest to largest, right? Let's say you got one debt that's $100. Let's say you got another debt that's $500. Let's say you got one debt that's $1,000. What you start to do is you start to pay off the little debts first so they can just be taken care of. So now they're no longer there. What that's going to do is going to give you basically, because our brains are very reward oriented. When you finally get rid of that situation, you're dealt with it, you're going to feel a rush of endorphins and dopamine come to you. You're going to feel happy. Oh, I finally eliminated this debt. So it's going to keep you with the feel good energy. I can do this. I can go on to the next step. And that's good if you're just starting trying to eliminate your debt. You need those small victories. Because getting started is the hardest step. Oftentimes, the first step is often the hardest. So you gotta just get it started. And once you actually met a goal, now you're like, oh, I've done it. I can move on to the next goal. The avalanche is the opposite, where you take your debts with the largest amount of interest, the smallest, and you pay off the larger interest rates first. And that's a long game kind of thing. It's like, yo, if I pay the ones with the most interest now and pay that off, I'll be making a lower payment and spending less money overall. So in spending terms, it's a wiser choice, but it takes somebody who's very disciplined and has a lot of patience to deal with. Some things may not work exactly the way you want them to. Like, you may want to just, I have to take care of these debts, but then this big debt is fucking you up. So if you get rid of this big debt, whatever, you can start to maneuver your stuff. And when it comes to this, paying off your debts, you gotta have a budget. One of the things that was said to me, I remember I was a young cat. Somebody said to me, yo, you gotta remember the 5 P's. Poor planning prevents perfect planning prevents poor performance. If you plan all the way to the end, right, and you know all your moves before the stuff comes up, and you're not sitting here scrambling, then you're gonna be all right. And you gotta just stick to your goals. You stick to your goals so you can get to that,
and stick to the plan too.
Stick to the plan. You get your goal. You meet your goals. You stick to the plan. You're gonna get to the end. It's gonna be hard, but like, you gotta motivate each other. Like, one of the things I see, when people are starting to get their money right, their friends be like, "Oh, why you doing that?" But
people around you start to change.
Don't let people diminish your shit. They don't want to see you get out of it because misery loves company. I don't want to see anybody here like struggling with like their bread a little bit. Like, if you heard me talk about a no-fee banking and you're still getting charged $12, you didn't learn anything from it. So go look at your expenses. Be like, yo, what are things I can cut out so I can have a little bit of extra money? Because people don't even think about it. $12 a month may not seem like a lot, but in a year that's $144. If you had an extra $144 a year, what can you do? You can't do a lot, but you can probably do something. You can get maybe an extra Christmas gift, give yourself an extra holiday or spa day or whatever the fuck you need, right? And imagine you start to cut out big chunks of money, $20 a month, $30 a month, $40 a month. Now you're getting to the point, like, think about it, $50 a month. Cut out, right? Cut out. Is in 12 months, 50, 2 months is 100, right? And so we do that to that. So 6 times, that's 12. right? You can have $600 if you cut out $50 of shit in your budget. You know, it's not easy.
A month.
It's not easy. You know, but it's one of the things that makes it simpler is knowing where the money is going.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, I'm pretty sure right now, a couple of y'all can go right into your bank statements, look at your bank statements, and be like, "Oh, what the fuck I paid for this?" You might got an Audible subscription or something that you don't even use, that you pay every month for.
And that you completely forgot about.
That you completely forgot about. There's some shit that you did the free trial for, and you still getting charged. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it hits us. You know. And the best way for that not to happen is to know exactly where your money is going. You know, for example, you know, you buy the Manscaped package, the fucking Total Care package. Every 3 months, they're gonna charge you $15 for blades. Hopefully, your hair is not growing like a goddamn jungle down there, where you need to trim your hair 17 times in 3 months. You know what I'm saying? That way, you need to get a new blade like every 3. That's, you know. Unless you trim it every week, all right, go ahead, man. That's you. But if you need, you know, but if you don't need it, and you're getting charged $15 every month, every 3 months, and you got like a bunch of blades for sitting there for no reason, it's just a waste of money, you know.
Want to go on into some reaction?
Not just yet. There's like there's a couple more things I want to talk about. So one of the people that I'm gonna bring him up again. People really don't like him right now because some shit he said recently. Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey has these things. He calls them the 7 baby steps to financial freedom. Today we're basically focusing on the first 3 steps. But I'll let you know what the steps are. So step number 1 is to save $1,000 for an emergency fund. Right? Quickest way to do that is to you can do that like, what is it? I think it's what you could put $1 a day or something and double. You put like if you put $1 a day starting on one day and double the amount of money you put in every day for that month. So for example, you put $1 the first day, $2 the second day, $3 the third day, $4 the fourth day, $5 the fifth day. You know what I'm saying? Right there, that's already like $9. But no, it's more than $9. 1 plus 2 plus 3, which is 6, plus 4 is 10. Like that's $15. You know what I'm saying? You can either do that, or you can just start putting away 10% of your earnings, or 20% of your earnings every month, and just taking that away from yourself. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. The second one is to pay off all your debts except for your mortgage, and he tells people to do the snowball method. I feel like whatever applies best to your current situation, do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Number 3 is to save up to 3 to 6 months of your living expenses and have that put away in case of emergencies, in case you lose your job. Right now, during the pandemic, it's like on some shit. It's been a year since I've held down like a steady job. You know what I'm saying? I left my job at the DOE voluntarily a year ago, but I put away money. So we weren't completely messed up. And then taxes came and I put away money, and it's been keeping me afloat. And then also like when I do like freelance work here and there, I'm able to keep us afloat a little bit, you know. But I'm trying to build the business to a point where we make more money, you know, than I would at a job, or make enough money where I would actually have to file the stuff. I don't even think I made like $1,000 last year in video stuff. You know, like a couple things. You know what I'm saying? You know, a few projects here and there. I may make it you know, and that money and that stuff went right into paying for camera gear and stuff like that. I always try to pay more on my credit than I need to pay more than the minimums just so they can get out of here. Um, so yeah, baby step number 3, saving up 3 to 6 months of expenses. So like I said, we were focusing on the first 3. I'm gonna reiterate those. Number 1, save $1,000 emergency fund. 2 is to pay off all your debts using the snowball method. 3 is to save up to 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses, right? And then those are the ones we're focusing on. The other ones are a little bit more intermediary. 4 is when you start to invest into your future and saving at least 15% towards your retirement or your future investments. 5, if you have children, is to start a college fund for them. 6 is to pay off the home early, right? And 7 is to start to build wealth and to give to people so you can help them with their lives. I don't know anybody who's wealthy enough to help give. Looking to give, help the out. Right? So we were talking about saving. Saving is very important. What happens if you're looking to buy something nice for yourself or a loved one, right? What happens if you want to go on vacation, right? What happens if you just want to insure for the future and just keep dry on a rainy day? What do you got to do? You got to save, right? Saving is for the unexpected things that are going to happen in the future. You make money now, so you're not worried about it later. You know what I'm saying? Right? So one of the things I really think is a detriment to our people here in in my community, like, yeah, see, that's dope. You're learning a skill that's transferable. You can make products out of it. You're trying to, render services. Like, one of the things that people say to get out of debt and you want to make more money, you got to learn a high value skill, something that's going to make you money.
A rolling tray sounds interesting.
Yeah, you probably can get one.
Yeah, with a matching ashtray.
But one thing I've noticed that in our communities, too often, we forget about the importance of saving. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know a lot of kids who grew up with piggy banks.
Yeah.
Our kids got a piggy bank. I had a piggy bank growing up.
I did
One
too.
of the most traumatizing events happened because I had it. We're not gonna get one of the reasons why, like, I don't like Christmas a lot, and there's a reason for it. One of the reasons have to do with one of my piggy banks. Right. And it's like I can't even tell you how often I went broke trying to buy something that, like a pair of Jordans. If I knew they was gonna come out, I could just start putting money away slowly. So when they did come out, I had the bread for it already, and not go broke buying. What about in the future? Like, let's, for example, an emergency happens. You ain't got let's say you ain't got no money at all, right? And you live in a house, you own a home, right? Let's say you're lucky enough to have paid that home off, but let's say your water heater blows out. You gotta get your,
Water heater. Or gotta get it fixed or whatever.
Right? You gotta get fixed or something. You ain't got no money, right? For 2 weeks, right? If you had savings, you would have been able to turn around and be like, yo, listen, an emergency just happened. I have this money in case something were to happen around the house, and I can now get a new water heater, get it fixed or whatever, and I can then shower and not have to worry about freezing because I have no hot water.
Or have to boil.
I have to boil hot water. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've heard there's rappers bought cribs and were not paying fucking utilities. They have to boil hot water in their mansions because they fucking morons for money. You live in a whole mansion, you ain't got no hot water.
Yeah, it's like, what?
What are you doing? Right? With savings, right now with the pandemic, the APY, the annual percentage yield, which is the interest you get paid when your money's in the savings account, isn't as high as it usually is. Pandemic got this shit fucked up. If you know about inflation affects your money at 2% a year. So they try to give it, they try to, don't think about that shit. 2% a year is not, for every $100 you have in the savings, for every $100 you have in cash, it loses its value by 2% every year.
Yeah.
The power of a dollar diminishes 2%. That's why when you go to the store, right, there ain't no such thing as $25 chips. $25 25-cent chips, right? Because of inflation. Inflation made it where you can't buy two
Get your
Snickers
quarter
no
water,
more.
yeah.
No Snickers for $2, two Snickers for $1. Ain't no such thing as no quarter waters no more, right? Because how much is the fucking peanut chew now? It used to be like 5 cents, right?
Yeah, it used to be 5 cents. I think they're like 10 or 15 cents now.
Yeah, you see that's inflation at work. When things become more pricey as time goes on, that's inflation. And it affects everything. And usually what savings accounts are supposed to allow you to make a little bit of money on the money that you're not gonna readily spend. You know what I'm saying? So there's certain ways to make money using interest. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can go and put a bunch of money in a certain account, and if it has a good interest rate, you'll make a percentage back. But you also have to account for the inflation that. So what you're trying to do is counteract inflation. One of the savings account I use is one with Synchrony. It's an online savings account. Not at a brick and mortar bank. A lot of the brick and mortar banks have shitty ass savings accounts. Like, don't ever open a savings account with chickens if you're trying to have a good interest rate. If you're just trying to have some savings just to have it, just in case something happens, go ahead and do so. But do it and be smart about your money, because when you give money to the bank, right, the bank then borrows out and lends you money out, right, so other people can use it, and then they make profit based on the interest that they charge, right? And so they're supposed to give you a kickback with some interest rates. If they're making 8%, 12% return on your money, and they can't even give you a measly 2%, you don't need to be working. Yeah, it's a lot of their percent. Oh, this is 6%, whatever. I don't give a shit, right? This is 15% of my no. You made 12% off my money. At least cut me off too. Which is why I see why Muslims have their shit with riba. I get it. Okay.
Makes sense. So.
Yeah. You can go with different accounts, savings. When it comes to this is savings for your emergency fund. You know what I'm saying? Once you got $1,000 in there, right, and then the next step you pay your debts, right, your small consumer debts. The next step after that, right, is to save up 3 to 6 months of your so let's say every month you pay rent, you pay bills, you do this, you take that amount of money that you know is needed every month to maintain your status of living, right, and you multiply it by 3 to 6, right, to have a nice cushion there just in case you lose your job or get injured or something happens to you, right? That's just a good guideline. You can have a little bit more if you want, but you don't need it. Okay. Peace out, Natalie. It's good to see you here.
Okay, Natalie. Night. Good night.
I guess after this, I'm gonna react to anything today.
Yeah, so
I think we're gonna get off in a little bit, maybe another 8.
Yeah.
Just make a quick hour and a half live.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. But once you get to that point where you have a little bit of money put away for a buffer, 3 to 6 months, you can even do 12 months, just so you can be like, yo, if something happened to me, because on some real shit, if you had 3 to 6 months or a whole year's bills put away, if your boss was acting like a dickhead, you can just be like, well, fuck this job. I can just go find a new one. Because I already have my money set aside. That's when you get what Dan Law calls that fuck you money. Where you can be like, this motherfucker's talking to me like I need this motherfucker.
Yeah.
In the realness, jobs need you. I'm not saying that you're the best person, but you on some shit.
a lot of money is wasted by hiring people for, like, for example, I've been looking for a job, you know. I worked for the census a couple months ago, and I see a lot of jobs being very picky, and you have to have like like they were picking like probably the top tier people. You know, they're saying, oh, the marketplace, everybody's here, it's competitive, we're gonna pick the best of the best. Those people who are picked at the top, the best of the best, have more options. So now they accept your job offer, but then they never start work, right?
Yeah.
And so now they go start work somewhere else where it pays them more. So then now they're benefiting because now they have a job. But now you have a company that, let's say somebody came in or didn't come in, and now you're sitting there with a vacant position because the person had never started work, right? It costs more to have that position open than it does just hiring someone. Because, you know, for a lot of places. And it's just, I think it's real stupid how the pandemic has really switched a lot of dynamics when it comes to the financial thing. Like, you know, but I see a lot of people starting to make their move. We making our move now. The YouTube thing.
Yeah.
Like, we're doing this challenge. If shit.
Yeah, if y'all like any of the stuff that we do this week, let us know. See if you guys would like us to add anything in the certain, you know, every week or whatever, so we can go live at, you know, 3 days out of the week instead of 2.
I know I didn't talk about stocks or IRAs in this stream, but if you guys like this, we can continue. This one was just a basic one, how to get your bread, like how to get the first 3 baby steps, how to get things assorted so we can actually start to be effective with the budgeting. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, like today is a bank holiday, right? I know that, you know, whatever, my check hits a certain day. Because of the bank holiday, it's gonna hit a little bit later, or whatever. Because
wait, what's today?
Today's President's Day.
Oh.
And so usually I'm used to having money at a certain day, but it'll be a little bit later, right? And I just act accordingly. But since I already planned my budget, it's not like that 1 day difference is gonna fuck.
Yeah.
You know, that 1 day I'm just doing things 1 day.
1 day later.
Yeah. 1 day less early. Right. If you guys want to talk about Vanguard and stocks and IRAs, or we could talk about actually building wealth, that'll be dope. I'm not really big into the stocks. Something I do want to get into more, so we could also, it's a community thing, bounce ideas off each other. We could do a new Wall Street bets. We can talk about what stocks going up, or we should put money and stuff like that. Insider trading, no. Insider, that's illegal. Can't do that. Maybe figure out different ways like to get into the stock game with little money or for free, because there are brokerages that are now no fee, small fee. You do different things like this for Robinhood. I use Stash. I also use Ally. You can do Vanguard, you can do Fidelity. There's now ways to get into the stock shit. You know what I'm saying? And stocks is something that it's a speculation game. It's about if the thing's gonna go up. If you know, the whole thing is buy low, sell high. That's what you want to do, right? With the stocks. And that's how you make your money. I think maybe if we were to do if we do money one day, if we want to continue doing this, we'll talk about that. Kind of get into how stocks work, and a little bit of some saving stuff, because there are different ways to make money. There's like different accounts, which they all go into stock. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Your IRA that you do with your employer, right? They open a brokerage. You could choose to sit that there and just sit there doing nothing, right? But basically, what they're gonna take that money and use it for mutual funds, sending, you know, spending it in certain things, invest in indexes and whatnot. Basically, you take, because you're not supposed to touch that money, like retirement funds and stuff like that. So they're allowed to be able to do shit with it and get a big return and play with your money a little bit more, and that's what allows you to get huge returns. You know what I'm saying? When it's like have a brokerage and you put money in a stock that fucking flies through the roof, your brokerage is going to grow exponentially because of that. You know, so that you can make money. Like that the stocks, like the mutual funds, IRAs, all that stuff, the stocks, they all go hand in hand. Even though you think you're saving money, they all go hand in hand. You know? And then there's other ways to make money, real estate or just starting a business, stuff like that. As you can see, anybody who really makes money is always trying to make money in different avenues and diversify your income streams.
Yeah, and they're also very, very cheap.
Yes.
They're very cheap.
Yes, maybe
millionaires that become millionaires from, you know, spending mad money on Gucci and Louis Vuitton, doing all that. No, they stayed shopping at thrift stores and continued like living their life as if they were broke.
Yeah, so if you like our Money Mondays, we'll return with some stock stuff. We'll talk. Just let us know on the Instagrams, on the Twitters and shit. Let us know what's up.
Yeah, and tomorrow is going to be True Crime Tuesday.
Yep.
So we're gonna be talking about some type of
true crime
stuff.
So see us tomorrow. We don't know exactly what time we're gonna do that, but we're gonna.
Yeah, I feel like 4. Yeah, I feel like 4 was a little too early.
4 was early, but we're talking about money.
Yeah.
So I want to do it while the stock market was still open. It's closed now. It's been closed 30 minutes. Hopefully you got your trades in. But yeah. My name is Zales.
I am Diamond. And we are the Carbon Couple.
The Carbon Couple. Signing off.
Signing off. Bye.